Let's take a look at some different viewing options for your spreadsheet. All right, the first example I wanted to show you is how to remove grid lines from your spreadsheet. Grid lines are there by default. They appear to be cell borders here. They're seemingly, low profile. They're guides to make sure that you're typing into the correct cell. However, some people think it looks nicer to not have those grid lines. So if you were making a visual that you were showing to others, or you just wanted to clean up the look, you could, for example, go to View and Show, and you could decide to not show those grid lines. So only the borders that I've actually applied to the chart will stay, and then you have this blank canvas. Now I can still click into cells and you see the outline here, but those grid lines disappear. When you choose to show or not show grid lines, those changes only take effect for the current sheet. So for example, I went to this sheet, you'd see that the grid lines were still there. If I didn't want them, I would have to remove them. So it's an individual basis. If you're printing something out from a Google Sheet, even if, for example, let's say I wanted to just print this chart onto a piece of paper, even though I've removed the grid lines from my view, when I print, I also need to make sure, and it looks like they're not there, but they probably will still print unless I uncheck show grid lines. So make sure to do that if you do plan to print something that you create in Sheets. Now here's an example of a report card, and this is for Spanish-speaking students and parents. And what it does is it translates the English version of the report card into Spanish using a formula. So you see when I click into this cell, it's using a Google Translate formula, and this will be something that we take a look at in our lesson on formulas. But what it's doing is it's taking the same cell in the English version of the report card, and it's saying that that language is in English, but we want it to be in Spanish, right? There are a couple of things that you can do here. Let's say that you're looking at a sheet and you're interested in seeing the formula. Now, of course, you could always click here and you could see what the formula was, but you could also go to the View menu and you see an option to turn the formula bar off and on. I'm going to leave that there. I think it's important to have, but if you are missing a formula bar, that is where you would find how to turn it back on. But if I click on formulas, this is going to show me every single cell that has a formula in it. And this can be helpful just visually to see which parts of the sheet are pulling in information. And if something is not pulling in information, you can try to find out why and fix it. Using a skill that we learned in a previous lesson, let's say that I wanted to turn this report card from translating into Spanish to translating into Portuguese. I could then use my find and replace, and I could find ES, and I could replace it with PT, which is the code for Portuguese. And I could just do it within this sheet, remember? And I have it checked to also search within the formulas. And then I can replace all. So this did the 70, look how much time that saved me. It took me a couple seconds to do this. And now all of my formulas have been changed to include the Portuguese language code. So if, for example, I went back to my view menu and I unchecked show formulas, now this report card is now in Portuguese. Right. Show protected ranges. Let's say you're working on a spreadsheet and you type into a cell and it doesn't let you edit. You can use a feature here called show protected ranges. Now, in this case, I'm the editor. None of this is protected from me. However, let me go into this other account here. All right, it's the same document. I'm looking at it at the same time, just from another account. And let's say that I go and I try to delete this. It's protected. And I get this message that I'm editing a protected cell. So let's say I want to find out what is going on here. Why can't I edit this? Go to the view menu. And now when I click protected ranges, I see these gray bars. So this is showing me that as an editor, this is protected and I cannot type into this. It's another useful thing to know if you're collaborating with others in spreadsheets. All right. Grouping is another one of the features within the view menu. What grouping allows you to do is to group cells together. So I'm looking at a workout log for 4 student athletes, and this is a pretty extensive list. One thing I can do to make that list easier to work with is I can group all the October entries together. So I would highlight all the October workouts that were logged. I'd go to View, and I would choose to group them. Now, it doesn't seem like anything happened, but you'll notice this little line came here, and if I scroll all the way up, now I see a drop down. So if I can collapse that and then just look at the November ones. So let me show you that again. So I want to group November. Always make sure that you're not just highlighting the names, but you're actually highlighting all of the rows. So you should see that these numbers are highlighted. So let me group November. Go to View and Group. And again, now I see the menu to collapse. Right? If I want to expand and decide, let me look at that October data again, I can click the plus button and then see that data. If at any point I decide I don't like these groupings, I can just highlight that range or click on that range to expand it, and then I can go to View and I can ungroup them to undo that. And then finally, another option to improve the viewing experience of your sheet. Okay, again, I'm looking at this workout log, and again, a lot of entries, and let's say that I'm trying to reference a piece of data, but maybe it's hard visually to figure out what goes where, especially when the spreadsheets start getting more columns. To help myself out, I'm going to click up here between the A and the 1 to highlight all of the data in the spreadsheet. And this is actually under formatting options, but it really does help with your view. And I'm going to apply alternating colors, and I can customize these colors. So if I don't like these preset colors, I can change them to the color I want. But let's say that let me pick this one for example, and then I press done. And now you can see this creates a cleaner look. So this helps my eye to follow the data across an entire row. If I want to remove the alternating colors, I could click back there again, go to Format, Alternating Colors, and I could either make an edit or I could click Remove. Right, but I like that, so I am going to keep that action. So those are some different options to enhance your view or clean up your view of data in a Google Sheet.